If you hood educated, I'm glad you made it. Allow me to unfold my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from a hood brother's point of view to all of you, here, there, and everywhere. Now check me out.
All right, we are continuing to follow the breaking news, the latest developments in the YSL RICO trial and non-negotiated plea going on. Let's listen in.
You run consecutively. I'm going to run it consecutive to count one, but I am going to backload. Oh, I'm sorry. That is not commuted. That is 5 years to serve, and it's going to be run consecutively to count one, backloaded, by which I mean after you serve your 15 years of probation, if you have been successful on that probation, and I sincerely hope that you are, then at the end of that 15 years, I will commute the entire rest of any service portion of your sentence to time served. So I'll get to the end of it and give you the total sentence, but I'm also going to impose a $15,000 fine with regard to that count. Count 57, 20 years to serve 5, commuted to time served, the balance of 15 years probated, concurrent with count 1. Count 58, 10 years to serve 5, commuted to time served, balance probated, concurrent with count 1. 59, 5 years to serve, commuted to time served, concurrent with count 1. 60, 5 years to serve, commuted to time served, concurrent with count 1. Count 61, 5 years to serve, that is required to be also a consecutive sentence, so that's going to be run consecutively to count 56 and backloaded. Count 62, 10 years to serve, also required to be served consecutively, that's going to be consecutive to count 61. You are to remain on reporting status for the first half of your probation, active reporting for the first 7.5 years of your probation, and that is pursuant to OCGA 17-10-1, subsection 2, A2A. And Mr. Steele.
So let me break this down to y'all real quick. Young Thug has 15 years of probation. Now we got to understand something though. Young Thug has 20 years over his head. Now what that means is this right here. If Young Thug violates his probation within the 15 years that he's on probation, he can potentially be sent to prison to do that 20 years that is hanging over his head. Now, being 100 with y'all, usually when you catch your first violation, depending on what it is, the judge, your probation judge, won't give you the whole 20-year sentence. But that depends on your violation. Say if he catch a violation for doing drugs or something like that, the judge might send him to do a couple years, might even send him to do treatment or something like that. But let's say he just keeps on messing up while he's on this probation. The judge can say, you know what? You are still a menace to society. You still having criminal behavior, gang behavior. I'm sentencing you to 20 years in prison. And there's nothing that he can do about it because that is his plea agreement. So when I understand that, I have to look at stuff like this and say, man, damn, why is you playing with your freedom knowing that you can end up potentially doing 20 years in the penitentiary for messing with Charleston White? Check it.
They ain't ready for that mate. That nigga told dumb. Bitch ass nigga. Man, them hoe ass niggas approach me now. Catch the
So from that little clip there, right? According to the reports all over the internet and from Charleston White himself, Young Thug walked up behind him and told him, we step on shit, right? Now, anybody from the hood, anybody that, understand the lingo, you understand when somebody's saying that they stepping on something, they talking about this gunplay. You see what I'm saying? They talking about laying something down, right? And so when he walks up behind Charleston White and whispers to him, hey, we step on shit. And Charleston White pulled his card. Do it. Let me see you step on some shit. You see? Now, look. Being 100, coming from a gangster perspective, from a gang bang perspective, real gangsters don't walk up to they ops and, announce their presence. They don't walk up to they ops and say stuff like, hey, we step on stuff. And, you're that guy. You're my op and I'll step on you. Gangsters don't do that. Gangsters are more action. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about real gangsters, right? They more action. Ain't too much talking going on. You gonna hear about what they did. You gonna see what they did. You gonna feel what they did. You see what I'm saying? Walking up to somebody who you presume to be your op and telling them, hey, we step on shit. You ain't a gangster. And Charleston White understood that. And that's why he played you the way that he played you. Embarrassed you the way that he embarrassed you. You see? Because, look, walking up to somebody that done disrespected your child's mother, your dead child's mother, disrespected your mama, your kids, disrespected you, called you all out your name. You see? Walking up to them saying that, hey, we step on shit, that ain't, look, what is that going to do? Right? What is that going to do? And not only that, though, let's just be 100. Let me talk, from a gangster perspective. Real gangsters, they would have seen Charleston White and said, hold on, Charleston here, be cool. When he leave, we got his ass. You see, when he leave, whatever car he get in, we gonna tear it up. You see, real gangsters move like that. Young Thug is playing gangster. Yeah, Young Thug think he's still the king slime. He still think he can just direct people and tell them what to do and ain't gonna do nothing his damn self. You see? And he hasn't learned from the last case that he just, he didn't beat it because he pled guilty, but, the last case. Him being the orchestrator, him being the being the leader of the RICO. You see what I'm saying? Him, directing traffic, telling people what to do. That's why they called him the leader of YSL. He ain't learned from that because right now, he doing the same thing. Walking up on people telling them we step on shit. And Charleston White said one of his homeboys had a gun. Cold-blooded demonstration. Said he seen his homeboy clutching a gun and the homeboy told Charleston White, hey look, you don't want to die out here. And Charleston White told him, do it. Pull this card. Do it. And Charleston White still living right now today. Because he had a lot to say. And this right here might send Young Thug back to the penitentiary. Check it out.
Jeffrey Williams. Let me explain something to you, motherfucker. You on probation. Right? You just approached me, threatening me. Your words was, we step on shit, okay? You didn't say I, you made it plural. You said we, so that's in cohorts. I mean a gang. You on probation. Then you had a fella with you that was possessing a gun. You are not supposed to be around with people that had guns. Eyewitness, along with other witnesses, saw your friend with the short body, with the fat, pudgy stomach that hangs above or over his waistline like a kangaroo pouch. The fat motherfucker was clutching the gun. His exact words as he was clutching the gun or appearing to be clutching the gun. I assumed it was a gun. I think it was a gun. I believe it was a gun. Right? That makes it aggravated assault. His words was, don't lose your life in her. My words was, do it. Then other people came out and interfered. I proceeded to brandish the mace and pull out the mace and say, you niggas are getting mace. So I understand we was on a private airport's property, which is under the Federal Aviation Administration. So first thing Monday morning, because you said Jeffrey Williams on probation, aka King Slime, aka Young Thug, you said we step on shit. Your other brother, your goon with the gang chain, the YSL spider chain, pretending to clutch a gun as he was assuming to be brandishing and holding the gun, said don't lose your life. I am now in fear of my life. Swear to God I am. I'm going to contact my attorney. First thing Monday morning, we will be going to the courts to file a restraining order against you for my protection. Not only that, I will be contacting the federal authorities because you made a threat while possessing a gun on federal property, a private airport. I'm pressing charges on you, Jeffrey. I know you're on probation. You fit to go to jail. I swear to God, you will. I'm doing everything because you got me afraid for my life. You are a gang leader. I don't even know why you was at the Drewski Could Have Been Love reunion. You wasn't on one episode, ugly motherfucker. I don't even know what you were there for, nigga. Bother me. And you waited till I was by myself. You waited till I was by myself and approached me with a gang of guys, thinking that you was going to intimidate me and cause me to be in fear. And guess what? You did. Sure did. And I am in fear. God said I would lose my life clutching the gun. I seen it and I saw it. And I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. You going to jail, bitch ass nigga, and I'm contacting your probation officer. I'm sending her the video to show that you was there and you was with gang members. I got the pictures and the photos of every guy you was with. Swear to God I do. Yeah, no business bother me, nigga, but you got the right one, Jeffrey. Yeah. Jeffrey King Slime, finna slime your ass right into Fannie Willie's hands, bitch ass nigga. She already done tried to get you revoked. Guess what I'm finna do? Get you a revocation hearing. I swear to God, I'm finna get you a revocation hearing. And I listen, I'm gonna tell exactly what happened. Detailed description. And you waited. You niggas thought y'all gonna catch me by myself and I was gonna cowboy. I think I grabbed my nuts on you niggas and told you niggas do it, nigga. And I was by myself. Bitch ass nigga, you with a group of niggas, ho. And you niggas had every opportunity to upside my motherfucking head. Get what you didn't do? Nothing but make threats. And guess what it is? Against the law.
You see what I'm saying? So, Young Thug, why would you play with Charleston White? You know he has a record. He has a history of calling the police. And look, let me be 100 with y'all. I don't agree with somebody causing problems or, talking bad about people or acting gangster and disrespecting people dead, family members and kids and all that old type of stuff. And then saying, I'm calling the police because what you did to me. I don't agree with that type of conduct because here it is, you instigating, you talking bad about people, you tugging at people's emotions, you talking about people dead children and they dead kids' mothers and stuff like that. And then when somebody bring it to you, you say, I'm calling the police. I don't agree with that right there. I don't agree with that. Now, if you just an innocent person, you ain't messing with nobody and the gangbangers run up on you messing with you, then of course, yeah, hell yeah, call the police, do what you got to do. But if you acting tough, like Charleston White do, if you acting gangster, like Charleston White do, then I don't feel that you got room to be calling the police. But that's just my feelings though. Because as we can see, that's not Charleston White's feelings. Charleston White gonna talk bad about you, disrespect you, get you all emotional, make you cry, and make you want to kill him. And when you approach him and tell him, hey, look, we step on shit, and you don't kill him, then he's gonna do what he does best. And that's call the police on you. Call your parole officer on you. Call your probation officer on you. Things like that. And so now here it is. if Charleston White actually goes through with his plan, look, Thug can be going back to the penitentiary. Because Thug ain't supposed to be around no guns unless it's his security. Now, his homeboy that Charleston White was talking about could have been his security, because you got to understand, a lot of these guys are getting smart now. A lot of these guys are saying, hey, look, check this out. I want real security, and I want my homeboys. Y'all go to school, man. Y'all go do a course for security, and then, we're going to give you a gun. You're going to have your conceal and carry. That way your homeboys can be around you legit. You see what I'm saying? And they have some background in security. You see what I'm saying? So these guys is getting smart like that. But for the simple fact of the threat, you see, that threat, we step on shit. Look, when you on probation and parole, you can't be involved in none of that type of stuff. And I believe Young Thug judge made that clear. Check it out.
Throughout the week, we have followed the YSL trial as both sides hammered out potential plea deals behind closed doors. And earlier today, an agreement was reached. When the exact terms of the deal fell through, it fell to the judge to determine the fate of Jeffrey Williams.
Both sides presented their final arguments to Judge Whitaker. Here's a breakdown of this complicated sentence. What was originally a 5-year sentence was modified by the judge to time served, meaning the 2.5 years Young Thug has already spent in jail was good enough. Today, he starts 15 years on probation. Hanging over his head is a 20-year sentence. If he stays out of trouble during probation, that sentence will also be commuted. Now, the judge reminded Young Thug his words and actions are broadcasted on a global stage.
I know you're talented, and even if you choose to continue to rap, you need to try to use your influence to let kids know that that is not the way to go.
In her parting words, the judge also reminded Williams of the consequences that await him if he violates that probation.
Trial is not over. That's because 2 co-defendants.
You see, they're not playing. All that is on the record. So whenever you go against something like that, and you on parole, probation, or whatever the case may be, when you go against what the judge is saying, or what the judge has said, giving you your conditions or your parole or probation, you go against that, it's going back to the penitentiary. And if you're not going back to the penitentiary, you're going to go to the county jail, you're going to sit down there for a little while till they have a hearing, and then they can say, hey, you know what, we sending them back. Or the hearing officer can say, you know what, no, I'm going to release them. It's up to the hearing officer. But if you violate those rules and regulations that were set specifically for you, your ass going back to the penitentiary. You see? And in this situation right here, it looks like that. I'm not saying that it's going to happen because, Young Thug got that money, but this is what it looks like. It looked like he can be headed to the penitentiary. And look, that woman that he got, his kids and all that old type of stuff, then he gonna go missing them again. You see? And now look, this the cold-blooded part about all that. When these guys go to jail for being tough, once they in that jail, they get soft. They start thinking about their woman. They start thinking about their mama. All of a sudden, they want to be a family man. All of a sudden, they love their kids that they ain't seen in 15 years. You see what I'm saying? That jail makes you reflect on yourself. You really get to examine yourself, because now you ain't got no drugs. Well, no, let me back up. They do got drugs up in there, but just not as plentiful like in the world, right? But you still in a position where you got to be still and you got to examine yourself. You got to deal with yourself. And so then you start reflecting, then your true self starts to come out. Then all of you say, oh damn, you know what? I want to be a daddy to my daughter. I want to be a daddy to my son. I want to be a husband to my wife. All these good feelings and shit start coming out. And then you get out. You play the role for a little minute until you start getting loose. You get a little free. Then you say, yeah, you know what? Let me call Lord and them up a little bit, see what they got going on. Man, let me hit that blunt real quick. Man, give me a shot of that. What's that you got? Let me hold that pistol, man. Hey, man, go give me a pistol. Right? Before you know it, you back into the bullshit. And see, if Young Thug is really moving the way Charleston White said that he was moving, then he back into the bullshit. So, he gonna be back in the penitentiary in no time. And with the time that he got over his head, man, I don't know how they do it down there in Georgia. Some states, when you got time over your head, they give you a little bit of it. And then, the more times you violate, they give you more of it. And sometimes, if you violate the wrong thing, they say, man, we sending you back for you to do all the rest of your time. Or whatever we gave you on probation. You see? So he got to understand, anytime he doing anything that goes out of those rules and regulations, he playing with his life. He's playing with his life. Now, before I depart, allow me to say this right here. Charleston White has got bold, and he has been emboldened because every time he disrespects one of these rappers, like he said, every time he dog them, disrespect they dead homies and all that, when he come across them, it's crickets. Ain't nobody threw a lick. Ain't nobody spit on them. Ain't nobody kicked them. Ain't nobody did nothing to Charleston White, right? And I believe that Charleston White is on a high because he's really believing in his mind that, hey, I can do what I want to do, say what I want to say, and ain't nobody gonna do nothing to me. And that's false. That's wrong. Because it's just a matter of time that, that he's going to continue to do this, and then somebody going to call him out. Somebody really going to pull his card. Somebody really going to demonstrate on him, whether it be like this or like this. Something is really going to happen. And even though Charleston White will call the police, but listen, the work has already been done. That's one thing you got to understand about calling the police. A lot of people believe in their mind, or, people that would snitch on people, they believe in their mind. Look, I'm going to call the police. And they think that that is like a barrier, or that right there is going to make them, going to secure them from the gangsters. Listen, these gangsters right now is killing people on camera, knowing that they on camera. So all that, I'm going to call the police, and all that, they know you're going to call the police. Look, that makes it worse for you for the simple fact of this right here. If I know you're going to call the police on me, I'm going to try to knock you all the way down so you can't call the police. You see what I'm saying? And 9 times out of 10, every time a crime happens, the police don't never just pop up right then and there when the crime is happening. It's always after, you see, after the shooting, when people is laid out dead, then somebody call 911. After the beating, after you got beat to smithereens, then somebody called 911. You see, after the drive-by, after the robbery, right? It's always after. You see, the police and paramedics and first responders show up after the criminal event, not during it. So he got to really understand that. Just because, hey, I call the police, okay, cool. But now that I know you'll call the police, hey man, I'm going to try to make it so you can't. You see? Or I'm going to ghost myself in a way so you can't even identify the person that did it. You see what I'm saying? So I understand that, he'll call the police and, hey, look, that's cool. But at the same time, look, you can't just be messing with people, disrespecting people and all that old type of stuff. And then when they confront you, now all of a sudden, you want to call the police. I don't like that right there. Leave people alone. Quit disrespecting people, right? Quit talking about people, dead children. Quit talking about people's dead child's mothers. Stop talking about people's dead homies. You see what I'm saying? And then you won't have all this chaos. You won't have people, running up on you talking crazy and trying to do stuff to you. Because truth be told, if Young Thug and his homies, if they was really gangsters for real, Charleston White probably won't be here right now. Because real gangsters that really want their get back and they really want to harm you, they are not going to alert you. When you see them, they going to be putting bullets in your ass. When you see them, they going to be putting hands on you. When you see them, ain't no talking. It's all action. And so Charleston White been dealing with a lot of pretenders that's been doing a lot of talking and letting him get away with a lot of bullshit. But one time, I'm telling y'all, and I don't wish this on the brother, but I'm telling y'all, one time it's gonna be that one group, the one people that's gonna say, nah, we ain't doing no talking. We want blood. And Charleston White ain't gonna be ready for it. And the reason why he ain't gonna be ready for it, because he's emboldened. His guard is down. He really believed that calling the police is going to save his life. No, it don't happen like that. Usually, while you on the ground bleeding out, it's somebody else that's calling the police that possibly could save your life. This is Hood Educated, not Lane Related. Peace and love, and y'all take care of yourself out there. If I said anything that caused you to think, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And if you're feeling generous, please make a small donation to the channel. Click the link to this next video you're going to see in the thumbnail down here. I believe that my logo is right here. My logo will be right there. Click that if you want to subscribe to the channel. Click right here to check out this video of Lil Mikey being betrayed by a close friend. Peace and love.